after the release of Red and Blue, Game Freak didn't expect it to take off as much as it did. But with the popularity of Pokemon increasing, they just had to do something. So they released a sequel. Pokemon Gold and Silver released in 1999, a couple years after the original game's Red and Blue release. But how well do Gold and Silver hold up? Do they surpass their predecessor? Do they bring something new to the franchise? Let's find out. I'm gonna be real honest with you, I like Gold and Silver. Johto is one of my favorite regions, I love the lore, I love the history, and I just love the Pokemon. With over 100 Pokemon released this time instead of the original 151, you have a little bit less choice to work with, but you have a lot of good Pokemon designs. You got the starter Pokemon, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, which evolve into great forms. You've got new Pokemon that you wouldn't have expected to see, like pre-evolutions and evolutions of previous Pokemon. There's some pretty cool legendary Pokemon that actually look really nice, and they are some of my favorites. Alongside the new Pokemon, they also introduced so many new game mechanics that would change the friggin' franchise. Breeding came along, and now you can hatch Pokemon with better stats and better movesets. There are also a lot of quality of life updates. Now you don't have to worry about depositing your items in your bag becoming full. Now you don't have to worry about trash movesets, actually. There's a lot of decent movesets now. You don't have to select your Pokemon when it comes to HMs. There are also a lot more challenges in Gold and Silver. With the introduction of 2 new types, you have Dark types and now you have Steel types. This also balances out the previous generation where Psychic types were a major problem in Gen 1. And with these new typings were new Pokemon and new evolutions. Eevee got some of the best evolutions ever with Espeon and Umbreon. Even Pokemon such as Onix got an evolution with Steelix. A lot of the sprite work and artwork was updated, and guess what? It's on the Game Boy Color now, which means everything's in color. And all the sprites of the original Pokemon are now updated along with the new ones. Of course, some are a little bit reused, as I mean, you can tell, but it looks great. You have a clock in this freaking game now. You have day and night cycles where if you evolve certain Pokemon, it'll depend on the time of day. And certain Pokemon will only appear during the day and some will only appear at night. Their encounter rate will vary depending on what time of day. The special stat from Gen 1 was split into special attack and special defense, which means now we have a variety of stuff you can do with your stats. And it's a great thing for strategy. One of the best things that was introduced was the freaking Pokegear, which was like a little phone, you know, in the Pokemon world, basically. But it could show you the map, you could call people, heck, you can listen to the freaking radio. Probably one of my favorite aspects of what got introduced was the music in this generation. It's so freaking good. And finally, probably my favorite, shiny Pokemon. Yes, you heard me. Shiny Pokemon. Did I also mention that these games are sequels? Gold and Silver take place 3 years after the original pair of games, which means you get to see a lot of familiar faces within these 2 games. Like, say, Professor Oak, for example. Heck, even the Kanto region's connected to Johto. We won't get to the Kanto part in this video. But you know, it's a good thing that it's connected because it's basically a sequel. But you have a different branch of Team Rocket now, who are trying to make up for the loss of Giovanni. You have a new rival who is also affected by Team Rocket. It's arguably a better story because you can see how much this has affected, like the events of the previous games have affected the world. And did I mention the lore? Because the lore is so freaking good. Johto is a lot more lively than Kanto was. And not that Kanto wasn't as lively, but you can see how much there was culture and how much story influences the game. Now, as much as I love these pair of games, there are some bad things about them. So in this game, you have access to a good amount of Pokemon, but not the ones you would think that would come from the Johto region. So Houndour is a Pokemon that was introduced in this generation. Houndour is a Johto Pokemon. Where can you find Houndour? In Kanto. At the same time, even though you get a decent selection of Pokemon, some of them just kind of suck. You're not really going to use a Noctowl through the rest of the game. You're not going to use really a Pidgey. And then there's the level curve. The level curve is horrible, I'm sorry, it's very bad. Lance's Pokemon, the champion, are around level 50. What you have to train on are level 25s. It's so bad. Finally, these games introduce something that I absolutely hate. and I don't know why they introduced it, but they did anyways. So in Sprout Tower at night, you gain access to Ghastly. Now, Ghastly is a good Pokemon. Why is it a good Pokemon? Because it learns Mean Look. Why do you want Mean Look? Because of this. What? Roaming legendary Pokemon. Absolutely horrible. At least in these games. I like the legendary beasts, but how you can find them is absolutely horrible. In order to find them, you have to go to the bottom of the Brass Tower, which is now the Burn Tower, find them, and you set them free. But the issue is they keep running away from you. You can only locate them by chance, which absolutely sucks. You have to keep running around in the freaking grass until you find them. That's why I suggest using one of your Master Balls on those. Just God, please, just do it. But you know what? Gold and Silver are good games. I like them better than Red and Blue. Are they the best in the series? No. There's arguably a better Johto remake out there. It has a way to track the legendary beasts. But for now, these games are good. And if you want to play through Johto, I would suggest these games. Just don't go looking for the legendary beasts. Don't do it. You just don't do it. What are you doing? No, don't go do, no.